Good morning, social media breakfast. How are you doing? I am so excited to be here this morning. It is a beautiful day in Houston, and somebody's doing their lawn work right outside of my window. So that's just how it is in this live and virtual world. So we're going to be talking today about Google My Business. Amanda Tento is joining us. Where are you joining us from?
I am in York, Pennsylvania now. When I first met you, I was in Washington State. But
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! So you've moved.
Yes.
So that's the beauty of this year is that we were just talking about this in the green room beforehand, is that I can have all of these amazing people from around the country come to talk to us about these very specific areas of their expertise. And so I really, really appreciate you, taking some time out of your schedule today to join us. And I'm glad you're more on the East Coast time than you would be on the Pacific time, because that would be super early. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more about how you got involved doing the Google My Business for small businesses. Does that kind of give us your background on that front?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I was managing a credit union, which is totally opposite of what I'm doing now. And I got pregnant with our third daughter, and I decided that I needed to not work at a credit union and work from home. So I ended up starting my own business, and I started out as a VA. Well, one of my clients is a marketing agency, and I still work for him to this day doing a lot of white label things, but this is about 4 years ago now. I can't believe that.
Wow.
And yeah,
it goes fast.
I know. My daughter will be 4 in
July.
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, the baby.
Happy birthday. I know. I have. Yeah, my baby is 12, so it goes fast.
Yeah, it's a whole sad thing. But anyway, so I worked for him, and he was like, you know what? I want to help you. What do you want to learn? And I was like, well, I'd like to learn SEO. So he paid for me to do like all these different SEO courses and like learn SEO. And I started managing his clients' Google My Business profiles. And I realized it's really powerful. And not only that, but in 2019, Google completely changed the search engine results page. So it used to be just organic listings and ads at the top. In 2019, they added in that local 3-pack, which displays the Google My Business listings. As soon as they did that, a light bulb clicked, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to help people with this because they need to be able to get into that top 3. So that's when I really shifted my business focus only to Google My Business.
Yeah, I think that's great because, I mean, that's one of the things I think so powerful about this that people don't really understand is that you have this ability to get your business into that top 3. LinkedIn does something similar too. Like if you have a good LinkedIn profile, that'll help you as well. But this is like got a lot more information in it, like a lot more information. So let's start to unpack this just a little bit. What do you think? Well, first of all, let's answer the big elephant in the room. Is this only for like local businesses? Like who can use Google My Business?
So the litmus test that I use for who can use Google My Business is if you have the ability to serve your neighbor in your business. And also you could also serve someone in Australia or Ireland or wherever. But as long as you have that ability to serve your neighbor and deliver some sort of something, have a meeting with them in person, whatever, then you can use Google My Business. That's the easiest way to talk about it. So I could have a meeting. I work from home, and 99.9% of actually right now, 100% of my clients are virtual because I can't see any of them in person anymore because I moved to the other side of the country. So, but if a business down the street or my neighbor next door that owns a business, if he wanted me to work for him, I could totally work for him. We could have an in-person meeting, etc. So.
No, that's great. And but about the address. So I know because when I signed up for it, they ask you for an address. So how do you get around that if you don't want like your home address, like and a map going straight to your front door happening?
Yeah. So all you have to do is delete it. That's literally all you have to do is go into your address portion, delete all of that information out of it, and then it will actually shift your business to a service-based business where you don't serve clients at your location.
Okay, so that I did not know. So that is really, really cool. So you can then, just make your profile with your home address or whatever address, then delete it.
Yeah, as soon as you verify it, because it's not going to show up until you actually get that verification code and verify it. So you're going to need to enter your address in order to get the verification code, and then you can just delete it. So
Yeah, I didn't know that. So see, that's the first thing I've learned today, because
Yeah.
my address still sits on there, not my personal address actually, which is no. So I'm not gonna say anymore, but in the end of the day, yeah, you can put it in there and you can delete it. That's awesome. So, tell me, what are the first steps? Let's just act like we're beginners, because I don't know, in the audience, if you guys could tell us in the comments. I see some people are here, but if you're here, definitely let me know you're here in the comments. First of all, they're listening from all different platforms. Facebook, LinkedIn are probably our biggest ones, and then we've got Twitter, and also a little YouTube thrown in there for fun. So let us know where you're listening from, and also if you already have a Google My Business account. So can you say, yes, I have one, or no, I don't? Just type yes or type no, so that we kind of know who our audience is here, and I can ask the right questions as we go, so that we make sure that we're putting you together there. With the right information. Because I mean, if you already have one, we may have other things we want to ask, right? And then at the end, I will also leave some time for you to ask some questions of Amanda. We're going to open up during this thing a Google My Business profile for you to see. We'll kind of walk through it a little bit, but first, I just want to get through the basics. So sort of the why would we do this, and that's really the key. Like we talked about search, that's great. But what are the features of Google My Business that make it so compelling to you, Amanda?
Honestly, if you can give information about your business directly to Google, and they're going to display it directly to your ideal customers, that is the most powerful tool on the internet, in my opinion. There is no other platform that you can use that will literally, you have the ability to manipulate, and not even manipulate, but just use it properly, and it will get you thousands of views from your ideal clients, or hundreds of phone calls, or any of those things. There's not a platform out there that does that other than Google My Business.
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of yeses. So a lot of people already have one, which is great. So we can talk a little bit about how to maximize that. But just keeping going, because there's going to be some replays on this, and I want to make sure that people that don't have one don't. So what would be the first step that you would take if you wanted to open a Google My Business?
So the first thing that you're going to do is go to business.google.com and search your business name. So that is absolutely the first thing, especially if you have a brick and mortar business. This is extremely important, because Google will often automatically create a listing for brick and mortar businesses. So if there is already a listing and you create another one on top of it, then you're going to end up with duplicate listings. And it seems like when it gets deleted, it's often the one that has all the reviews that's been around for a while that gets deleted. So you want to make sure that you're checking that first. Then if you don't have one, then you can create one. If you do have one there, then just claim it. So that is a very important thing. And if you come across a situation where it's already claimed by whomever else, like some random person on the internet, most likely, because they're going to hold it for hostage. But what you can do is just reach out to Google and let them know that that's your listing and not someone else's.
That's great. So, so first go search yourself. Is that how you find out if somebody else has it, or?
I would go to business.google.com and put that in, because that's like the Google My Business, like Google My Business search, So, because you could search your business, and if it's, maybe you moved, or maybe you're not searching in the right area or something, it might not come up if you do just a generic Google search. So I always recommend doing that business.google search.
And then they also said, how can you update a brick and mortar business listing? So I guess that one that's already there, is it the same place? You do the same thing?
So yeah, you're going to need to have a domain address. So that's the easiest way to do it. So like my business is at The Determined Mom, or at thedeterminedmom.com, and I also have at tdmmarketing.com. So you're going to want to make sure that you're reaching out to Google from that. If you can reach out to the former owner and just have them add you as an owner, that would be the best case scenario. I see that you're talking about a business that's been, changed from different owners and that kind of thing. So that would be the best case scenario. If you can't do that, then you can reach out to Google and ask them to allow you to own that business profile.
Yeah, because they do send you a little thing in the mail, because I got it too. Once you sign up, they send you a little thing in the mail that says, "Hey, I've got this code," and you put it in, right? So,
Yes, this is what it looks like. I actually just
oh, cool.
re-verified my business because
Yay.
I moved. So it looks like one of those checks, like when you get a check stub.
Yeah.
It's perforated, and then it has, whoops, I'm going the wrong way. And then it has a little number. I have no idea why I can't find the camera here.
Yeah, you don't need
There
to
it
show
is.
your number because
Okay.
somebody could steal your number. Oh,
Yeah, well, it's just a one-time verification. It only works for my business. So, but yeah.
Cool. So, Elizabeth, I don't know if that's going to help you, but definitely I would go there, search your thing, and then you say you reach out to them. Is there just like a little place inside of business.google.com to reach out?
You can actually just write on that listing. And I can show you that too in a minute whenever you're ready. But you can actually go on to the listing. You can just look at the listing, and there's a little place that says own this business. And then you click there, and it's like a little question mark. So,
yeah, we'll pull that up here in a minute to show you, because I think that's a really, really helpful thing for somebody who, especially when you've got a new business and you're trying to get everything turned over. It's so hard sometimes to get that stuff managed, all the little pieces of it, like the Facebook page and the Google My Business page and whatever, right? So, so let's talk about the features on Google My Business. I don't know if we want to open that up and look at it right now, or I don't know what's easier.
Yeah, we can do that. I will share my screen.
Share your screen, and I'll put it in the stream here. I'm also gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it. There we are. Let me put you in. And I will probably make it big so we can see it.
Yeah. The first thing that I want to point out is how you actually get to this, because that's one of the biggest challenges for people. A lot of my clients will be like, I know I have one. I claimed it like years ago, but I don't know, how to get to it. So what you're going to want to do is go here. So you're going to be logged into your Google account, and you just click on the Google Apps, and it's going to be right here. So it is under the Google Apps section, super easy. You just click on it. I'm not going to click on it because it's going to take me to a list of businesses and not this background. But so once you do that, if you only have one listing, it's going to take you here. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at, this is the back end, but I want to share what it looks like on maps and what it looks like on search. And then we'll be able to talk about that, what we just talked about. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, so this is the search view. And if you go here, oh, I'm already logged in, so it's not going to show you that. I'm going to have to pull up someone else's listing. Because
you could pull up mine. You could just look up Zoetica Media.
Oh, I think I found it.
That's it.
There it is. Okay. So see this little question mark here? It says own this business. So when you click on this, it's going to tell you who owns the profile. So I can see that it's your email address. If you look there, it tells you the first few letters of the email address that has claimed it. And so maybe you have an old email address that that's on, then you'll know which one it is if you do that. And then also if someone else has claimed it, you'll know that someone else has already claimed it.
Right. And so if you send that request access, it'll go to that person. If it's like the old business owner, it would go to that person.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right.
So then how would they get it from there?
It's just going to get in their email, and then they'll just verify.
No, I mean, like you say, somebody you did buy a business from somebody like Elizabeth did. And then you went there and you hit that, it would go back to that old business owner. Yes. So that old business owner would have to respond to her, or
no, they would just have to allow access. So it's just going to send an email, and it's just going to say, so-and-so has requested access to your Google My Business profile, allow or decline. And then they can just do that.
So reaching out to them would be an important thing to do. And then maybe even getting on the phone at the same time this happens.
Yeah, that would be even better, because you can do it in, live time, and you won't.
What if the person is like not around anymore? I mean, they've just gone to Tahiti and they're never coming back. What would you do?
Yeah, I would definitely contact Google. So you can go ahead and click this, and then you can request access. If they don't grant you access, or like, for example, if you would like to update this business's profile in Google, you can also report a problem. So you could report a problem, and then,
what happens when you hit that? It's okay if you do. I know you won't mess me up, I'm sure.
Okay.
Don't report me.
Report a problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to say, it's not showing up.
No.
And it's not going to let me search it. But I would go through the support section and just request access. So you could say, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe if, oh yeah, here it is. So change owner, or no, change name or other details. And then you can mark it as closed, non-existent, or duplicate. So I would probably change the name or other details. And I don't want to do this because I feel like
it's my business, but that's okay. But
okay, yeah.
And usually what happens with this is it sends me something and says that people are suggesting a change. So it doesn't really actually change it.
No, it does not. It's just a request, and you're just letting Google know, like, this might not be accurate, but yeah.
Yeah. Is there any way to get in touch with Google about these otherwise, except for through this channel?
No, you need to go through Google My Business, and there is, if you scroll down to, let me go into mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you scroll down to the bottom, you can click on support, and they're actually really good. People complain about them, but all I do is answer no to all of the questions as if this helped me. And eventually you get to support, and then they will, call you within a minute of you putting the request in.
Is there a way to get to Google My Business support that's not inside of a logged in account though? Because that's really her problem in general.
Yes, you can. You're going to have to go through that that channel that we were just looking at. Like, this is not
google.business.com maybe.
Well, yeah, that would be a way you could like log in and create a business. So you could technically, this is another way you could go about it, is if there is an existing profile already for that business, what you could do is, and you can't access it, you've tried all of the things, you've reached out to the former owner, nothing's working, you could create a duplicate listing and then reach out to Google and ask them to combine them. And just make sure you're really clear about which, they're going to ask you for the maps URL. So this URL right here, they're going to ask you for that. So you're going to want to copy that and put that into the support request form, because there's actually a little form for that. So you're going to put that in there and let them know, like, I want to keep the reviews from the old listing, because that's going to be very important, because if you have reviews, you want to keep them. If not, they can just delete the whole old listing. But that's a second way that you can go about it.
This is good. So that's great. So thank you. So that's a little bit of some technical details in there. Mm-hmm. But moving on to like the actual features for those who already have their account, they have it, you're here. What would be the first thing that you would fill out? Like, I mean, once you fill out the basics, I mean, so in the back end of yours, let's say.
Yeah.
What would you do first?
The first thing I would do would be update your cover photo. There's currently a glitch going on with Google My Business where if you don't put your cover photo in first, it's going to show some random photo from your gallery. So you want to make sure that you do that first. So this is the cover photo, and you can see here how it looks on Maps. It actually looks better on Maps than it does on there, because they show a little map. So anyway, but you want to update your attributes, which would be health and safety. Also things like women-led, Black-owned, veteran-led. There's a lot of different things, LGBTQ friendly. There are a lot of different attributes that you can set that will give you that information, or give them that information, and let consumers be able to search for your business based on those attributes. Which I wish everybody would just like update those today so we could do those searches, but most people don't have them updated.
I just updated mine the other day because, in preparation for this this lovely talk, I went back into the back end of my Google My Business and started like messing around with stuff. So you can even have a website back there, which is, we can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. So if you have a website, I highly suggest just using your website and putting that in. And if you don't have a website, then you can use like you said, that this Google actually provides you like a super generic looking website that just has basically all of your Google My Business information put into like a cute little like landing page. So it's just
and right now in my Zoetica one, I have one, even though I should never have done it, but you can show it if people want to see it.
I don't think we'll be able to see it because you have to have it. Did you publish it?
I may not have. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, actually you did.
Yeah, I did.
You totally did.
Yeah, I totally did.
Yep.
Even though I will get rid of this soon.
Yeah. Yeah. So all you have to do is change that URL.
Mm-hmm.
But this is exactly what we were talking about. So this is Cammie's Google My Business website. So they give you this, it says call now, get a quote, get directions. And it shows all of the posts that she's done on Google My Business. So that's pretty cool. You've done a lot of event posts, which is awesome. Yeah. And then your description down here. So, and then all of your photos. It actually looks really nice for like a website that you did nothing to do.
Yeah.
You know,
pretty well. It generated nicely. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, the event posts, I definitely put those in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do have one client that doesn't have a website. And so what I do is I just did this, like, I'm like, it doesn't matter. They don't need a website. It's like a fencing company. So they just do a lot of word of mouth referrals, and Google My Business. People will just click on there and call them. So they don't need a whole website. So yeah, this is a cute website. And if you want to unpublish it, then you're just going to want to just change this URL in your profile.
I will be doing that after this. I just wanted people to be able to see it if they can.
Yeah. I do realize because I just got my verification code the other day that I did not delete my address out. So I can show you how to do that in real time if you want.
Yay. Okay, so this is the coolest thing. I'm sorry. This is like my excitement for the day.
Yeah. Okay. So all you're going to do is go to your info, which is where you edit all of your info. And then you're going to click here. This is where my address is. And all I'm going to do is literally just delete everything. Or I guess you can just clear address like that. And then it says removing your address hides your business location on Google. Customers in your service area will still be able to search for you. So I'm just going to apply that.
This is so good.
Yeah. And then I'm going to refresh. I'm going to see. I don't know how quickly it'll take place, but we'll see. And
it's still there.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's still there. So it's not going to, it's going to take probably a couple hours for them to allow me to do that. But you can see that it's changed from my address to no location, deliveries, and home services only. So it's super cool.
And then I see you have service areas under there. Did you add those yourself?
Yeah. So what you can do, Google gives you 20 different service areas that you can add in. And I suggest this for local businesses as well as service-based businesses. So what I did is because I wanted to not have to, and I always suggest this to my clients too. So you want to not have to fight for money. You don't want to be targeting areas that obviously your ideal client doesn't live in. So you want to research the income levels and the areas where your services are going to be the most popular. So I researched all of the areas in the United States, the top 20 areas that I feel like my services would be best used, and they are in here. And then all you do is just click apply. So, and I highly suggest only using zip codes. If you think about it, so an example would be, I was just having an audit with a client a couple days ago, and she lives in Tacoma, Washington. Well, her services, there's certain areas in Tacoma, like if you were to put in the entire city of Tacoma, Washington, that people are just not going to want her services. So why waste that, extremely valuable real estate on Google to just people that aren't going to be interested? So you want to target those people by zip code.
And how many do you say you can do 16 and you have your full 16 there?
You can do 20.
20.
Yep. So it shows the top 4 and then 16 others. Yeah.
I can count.
Yeah.
Usually, not today. And then your hours. They're. By the way, I see your questions coming in fast and furious, guys. I will ask them. I just want to get through the profile and all the things, and then we will talk about questions. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So these are hours. So you can set your hours. If you are basically by appointment only, what I would suggest is doing 24 hours. So you can, just set it to be open all the time. So that's super easy. You can just click here and click on 24 hours. You can also do sets of hours. So maybe you take a nap during the middle of the day. If you take a nap, which would be amazing, by the way. If you have nap time, you can go ahead and add that in here by saying like, okay, from 8 to 12, and then from 2 to 4, I'm open. So you can add that in. So it's very important to have your hours accurate. And that's one of the reasons why Google changed it from, so initially Google My Business was only Google editing the information. And so then they realized like, we can't keep up with like every business in the United States. So they changed it. So then that way you can edit the information as a business owner. So that way it's more accurate. Google's all about like the right information. So
cool.
And more hours here is just, this is really, really helpful. And this has just been since the pandemic that they've added this. So access hours, brunch hours, delivery hours, drive-through hours, happy hours, kitchen, online services, pickup, and senior hours and takeout. So a lot of these apply mainly to restaurants, but it's really, really been important since the pandemic started to have those kinds of options. So then that way consumers can actually know when you're really going to be open and what you're really serving. So these are really important as well. So let's say you have a vacation coming up, or let's say you're going to be closed on 4th of July. So you can see that I have not confirmed my 4th of July hours yet. I have no idea what day of the week it is, but I'm just going to say I probably won't be working, although I probably will. Just between us, I will probably be working. But you can confirm these hours, and it's really important to do this. So then that way you're not getting calls, you're not, people aren't going to be showing up and those kind of things. So yeah, that's also important to do. And let's see, as soon as that updates, your phone number is extremely important. This is something that has just changed. So you used to be able to edit this. Mine still shows that you can edit it, but it's only because I was one of those people that have already had it and I've been able to edit in the past. They just eliminated the ability to edit your short name. So if you go into the back end of yours and you haven't done that yet, but you still see this little pencil, do it right away because they're taking that away. If you're creating a new one, you're not going to see that. I have a client that just created a new one last week and I'm editing theirs and they don't have that ability there. So that's a really important tip for today.
And then how does that, that short name is like, how do you use that short name?
So you will see it in your review link. So if I were to go, I'm just going to open this in a new tab. If you go to your home, there is a little box that says share my review form somewhere. There it is. So share review form. It's going to show up in there. Oh no, it's not showing up in there.
Huh.
They changed it.
So there it is.
Maybe they don't like my name, probably. But that's where it should show up. It should say gpage/r
people for reviews. Like if you want them to give you a review.
Yes. And this will actually, I'll show you. If you go to it, it's actually going to bring up the box for them to leave you a review. So
that's awesome. Okay.
It's going to take a second. There you go. So yeah, it's going to bring up that box. If you share your main profile link, this is fine too, but they're going to have to actually click on leave you a review kind of thing. So
this is a quick straight into that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, exactly. And let's see, moving along. So you want to have your website, obviously, and you also want to have an appointment link. If you do offer appointments and the ability to book an appointment with you, that's a really important thing, especially for service-based businesses, because it gives people the ability to, book directly with you from Google. The other thing you're going to want to add in are your services or your products. So there's 2 different categories that you can use, and your services are going to be, what you actually offer. And then your products are going to be if you sell something, let's say you have an online store or something.
You have t-shirts, you sell t-shirts, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
You can actually go to that, and I actually have some of my listing, I have my services in here as products, so you could do that too. But what you can do is you can go in here, you can add the range in, and then you can literally just put a link to the button and it's going to go right to whatever page you want it to go to. So if you
Like
do have a
landing page.
product,
Yeah.
if you do have a product, I suggest that you take it right to that page where that product is sold. So
That's super cool.
yeah. And this is really important because Google is really letting more and more kind of shopping go on in Google My Business. So, with all of the Google shopping things, like when you do a Google search for any type of product, you'll see those shopping results now at the top. So it's really important if you do have products to have this in here.
Cool. And you can get a listing audit from IC right there for $17. So this is like, so this is cool.
Yeah, those are really
fun. A lot of people here. So definitely give me that link to your profile and I'll make sure I share it, or I'll have our team share it here in a minute too.
Awesome. I will do that. And let's see, your description.
I want to ask, before you go all the way down, about phone numbers, especially since, we're talking to a lot of people here who are service providers like us too. There's some bricks and mortar here too. Sorry guys, but for the service providers type, how do you manage the phone number situation? Because I feel like that you just get tons and tons. I get tons and tons of like spam calls all day long, and I'm a little bit worried about that.
Yeah. So what I would do is either do a Google Voice number, or I have a number, which I did have a Google Voice number and then I changed it. So I have a number that I have through my CRM, and it's through Twilio. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that service. So Twilio allows you to pick a phone number, any phone number in the United States, and it allows you to not only text your clients, but also to receive and place calls with your clients. So they can actually call and it'll just forward right to your phone number.
That's great. Twilio. My team will look that up real quick and put it in the chat so you guys can see what that is. That's a cool service.
Yeah, definitely. And it works best if you're combining it with some sort of CRM, so you can just click or, that kind of thing. It's a little bit of a technical setup, but it works really well.
And you use it with what? You use Twilio with what?
I personally use it with a system called Funnel Gorgeous, but you could use it with a lot of different CRMs.
I know her stuff. That's good.
Julie? Yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah, good stuff. Awesome. Keep going.
Okay. So these are some of the attributes that you can do. And every type of business, depending on what category you choose, are going to have different types of attributes. So I have Black owned and women led. Sometimes veteran led will show up here. I have no idea when they choose this, when they choose that you get to be a veteran or not. But it's, sometimes an option, sometimes it's not. Appointment required, mask required, temperature checks. These are all new since COVID, like obviously all of them. And then online appointments. If you accept online appointments, that will show up as well. Now, restaurants have a different set. Location-based businesses will also have a different set. Spas, any type of health like locations, they'll have a whole different set of attributes. So it's really important to go into your own attributes and make sure that you click everything that applies to you. The next thing, and this is the most important thing that I want to talk about today, is that Google gives you 750 characters to describe your business. The thing that I want to stress is to talk about your business in the third person. Don't talk about yourself. Talk about your business as an outside person describing your business. The reason for this is because then you can work in keywords. So you want to do a little keyword research before you actually fill out your description. And you want to try to maximize all 750 of those characters. The easiest way to do that is I use a Google Doc and then turn on the little word counter and type as I go. So different keywords that your clients are going to be searching for. So let's see. What is your number one service?
You talking to me?
Yep.
Social media management or social media strategies. Believe me, I will not come up in the top 3 for that.
Let's chat. Okay. So what I'm really searching for is what people are searching for. So I'm not even looking at really the results. I have tools over here that I have installed.
Keywords online.
Exactly. So Keywords Everywhere will tell you everything that you need to know. And it looks like people are really searching for jobs about social media and marketing. So what we're going to do is get a little bit more specific and say Facebook management. If you don't want me to go into this much detail, it's okay. But
I don't care. This is great.
Okay. So when people search for Facebook management, we want to see what they're actually searching for and what the most popular terms are. So an ad manager is extremely popular. So if you do ads management, I would definitely put in Facebook ad manager in your description, or Facebook ads, Facebook pixel. Hold on one second.
It's all good. Hi. Again, I had the lawnmowers out here 5 seconds ago. So good. Yeah, I love that you can find, and I'm grabbing Keywords Everywhere. That's what she's looking at here to tell you guys this stuff. Keywords Everywhere, you can purchase credits for really, really cheap. It's not 100% free, but it is not very expensive. So I'm going to throw this into the comments right now, and it may not show up in some of them. But I'm now giving you guys the Keywords Everywhere link.
Yeah, I think it's $10 for 100,000 credits.
I know I paid for it once, and I haven't paid for it again.
Yeah, exactly.
It may or may not go in all of them. Let me see which one it fails in. Yeah, it fails in Twitter, but that's okay. So on Twitter, guys, it's keywordseverywhere.com. It's really easy.
And I apologize for my children. Today is the second day of summer break here. So
okay.
You know, but
okay.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see here we have Facebook Business Manager login. So really what people are really searching for when they're talking about Facebook management is pretty much ads, it looks like. And you can see the search volume right here for Facebook Ads Manager is 550,000 searches per month. The competition for Google Ads for that is really, really low. And the cost per click, if you were to run ads on Google, is $3.30. All of that's pretty irrelevant to what we're looking for, but we really want to see the search volume. That's what we're looking for. Because if we put that into our description, then it's going to help Google to serve our Facebook or our Google My Business listing to those people in our area that are searching for that particular.
Like if they say that and Katie, and then the people that have that in their Google My Business profile will have a better chance of coming up high in the results.
Exactly. And if they search that in one of your service areas that you put in too.
Very
so one of those zip codes.
One of those 20 zip codes.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. This is really helpful.
And let's go back. So that's your description. Make sure you're very descriptive. And you also want to put in how long you've been in business. This is very, very important as well, because it is something that Google is starting to display. And I don't know if they're displaying it. Let me see. In Canada, they've already started displaying this. So they'll literally say, been in business for 7 years, been in business for 4 years.
Credibility kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're already starting to display that on search results. So it's kind of interesting. And if you don't have that filled out, they're going to kind of estimate it. And if you're in business longer than they think, then you're kind of, cutting yourself short.
Love it.
So, yeah, I think that's everything that's extremely important.
Really?
The other thing that is very important is posts.
Yes.
So you want to actually make sure that you're doing posts regularly. So you can see there's 5 different kinds of posts. And this is a new one in the last year. Probably about a year. You can do a COVID update, which with a COVID update, you don't put any photo or anything. You just type like, okay, we're open, but we're, checking temperatures or whatever the status might be. And you can also link to, if you have a COVID-19 page on your website, you can link right to that. An offer is just what it is. It's like an offer, coupon, special, something like that. An update is what I always use. And basically it's just a photo, a description, and then also your call to action. And you get all these different calls to action that you can use for posting a podcast, for example, or a blog post. If you have information like that you want to share, you would use probably the learn more button and then just link right directly to that podcast or blog post. There's 3 elements of a good post, which is a really good picture. and a really good keyword rich description and a good call to action with a link. And let's see. And then the other one is events. You're very familiar with this, Cami, because I saw that you post a lot of events, which is good. And that's good because Google, actually, I wish everybody knew about this and everybody searched it. But if you were to literally type events near me, Google's going to show you a list of events. It's super cool. So this little box pops up, and this is like the Google Events box. And you can search online events. You can search events today, tomorrow, next week. It's just an amazing tool that you can use to find things near you. And if everyone used this, like all of our businesses would just skyrocket. So just saying, everybody should be using this. But yeah, this is really important, and your event will show up here for, if you post it there or if you post it online or anything. So cool. It's really important. And then the last type of post is a product post. So if you just want to feature a product, you can go ahead and put it in here, and it's just going to feature it as a separate post.
So like if you're doing a promotion around a certain product or something, it's a good place to put it.
Yes, that's a great place to put it. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think that's everything.
Yeah. And I have tons of questions. So we can start taking those, I think. I'm going to pull back here a minute. We might have to go back to this. Oh, I zoomed all the way to the top, guys. Give me a second. I'm going to come back to the top of the questions. All right, cool. So so Susan says people are always trying to claim her listing all the time. I guess you'll just get like an email, but you just ignore them, right?
Yep, just ignore them.
Do it.
Decline.
Can you change your email address on Google My Business? I think
yes. So. The easiest way to do that is just to invite yourself to be a user on your other email address. So on the left-hand side, there's a little thing that says users, and you're just going to click on that.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'll switch back and forth if you just leave it open on the.
Okay. Sure.
Just share.
Okay. Can you see it now? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Awesome. So what you're going to do, and I suggest everyone does this because you could lose access to an email account. And if it's the email account, like the only one that you have access to Google My Business, you're going to be in trouble. So click on users, and you can see that I own it on all of my different Gmail addresses. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is I don't have to worry about which one I'm logged into in order to access it. I can just access it from anywhere. And I'm never going to lose access to it. So all you have to do is add a user and then type in your other Gmail address and then choose a role. So you probably always want to choose owner for yourself. If someone is managing your profile, you're going to want to choose manager. And I have no idea what site manager is. That's a newer one. So
yeah. And Elizabeth was asking a similar question about, are you able to manage a client's listing? And this is where you would give,
yes,
your client would give you access to their listing, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. And I have, a process for that with my clients where I will, I just have a little video showing them how to do that. And then they go through that and then give me access. So
that's really great. Okay. So the next question is this one. I think this is interesting.
So if you have a small nonprofit, you run out of your house. No, you can actually, So you do need to use an actual address where you get mail, and it cannot be a PO box. It cannot be a UPS store. It can't be a random business suite that you've paid to, do that. It will not work because Google, imagine at a UPS store, 20 businesses want to have that as their location. It's just not going to work. So definitely you have to use your home address. And what you could do is just use your home address and then do what I did and delete the address and have it just be a service-based.
Yeah, get the email, get the mail. So it takes like maybe about a week.
It takes about 5 business days is what they say. It depends on where you are though. So sometimes I think in Canada it takes about 7, and in other countries it takes a little longer than that.
Yeah, she's got a really cool little thing where she puts little libraries around in like laundromats and stuff in different places around her area so that people can pick up books. Awesome. So I think that's great. So you'd have to put it up for just a little while, but it would be over with pretty quick.
Yeah. Actually, you could delete your address as soon as you give it to them for verification, and they say your verification code is on the way. So you really could do it before you verify it.
Okay.
Just as long as you give them that and you see that they're going to send it to you.
Oh, that's really, really good. Okay. So yeah, I mean, and it doesn't matter if you're a nonprofit, right? None of that matters? Or?
Nope. Not at all.
And that's, I think Sunita said the same thing. Our address is not required for Google My Business accounts. They are required. Again, yeah, just like what we just said. So I think these answer a lot of these. I think this address question is one of the bigger ones in my mind, especially for service-based businesses, because yeah. So here's a little harder one from Susan. My client has a suspended listing. What are the most common causes of that?
So there are a lot of different things. One could be that they've posted something inappropriate. They've posted something that violates the terms. There's literally a million different reasons. And I'll give you a really crazy reason that I had a client get their listing suspended. So I had a roofing client, and he posted on the Google app, but he posted as a consumer, but he still posted from his email address that was connected to the Google My Business account. So he pretended to be a customer accidentally and uploaded a photo to Google My Business instead of putting it in as an owner photo, and they immediately suspended his listing, and it took us about 2 weeks to get it back up. Super simple, super minor error, but literally almost anything can cause it. So
yeah. So how do you get out of it? I mean, you said you fixed it. So how did you fix it?
You just have to go through that support, the support thing that we looked at earlier. If you scroll all the way down, that little support link, and then just say suspended listing, and then you answer all the questions. And I always just say no to everything that it's not helpful. And then eventually you get to the contact, and then they're like, okay, would you like to have a call? Yes, please. And then enter your phone number, and they'll call you within a minute or two.
The customer support hack.
Yeah, exactly. No, nothing is helpful. Give me the person. That's what I do.
I need people. So, Walter asked, it was, and my team already asked, but this is being obviously taped. This is going to be up on all the different social media channels. You can come back to it. You can share it. You can go back and study it carefully. That being said, let's talk a little bit about strategy, because I always like to talk about strategy a little bit. You've talked a little bit about that already with your keywords, and boy, I've learned a lot. I've learned at least 2 things, and not more from you today. So this has been super valuable. So like, guys, give it up to Amanda in the chat for coming and helping us with this, because I think it's baffling for people, these new kind of little things. So talk a little bit about how, just when people search for your name. So generally speaking, once you have a Google business listing for your business name, if somebody searches for your business name, you just did mine. It shows up in that right sidebar, right?
Yes, most of the time. So if you have a location-based business though, and I'm searching, and I have this a lot with my clients when I do an evaluation for them. If they're I have a lot of clients in Portland, and I have a lot of clients, ironically, in Houston. So when I think
you're gonna have more after this too, by the way.
Yeah. So when I'm
me, I think, but that's another story.
Well, when I want to call and I'm searching, and I'm in York and they're in Portland, Oregon, for example, it's not going to show up unless I put in Portland, Oregon. Okay. Because you have to clarify where that business is. So you can't just Google it and it'll come up. It's just going to depend on that service area. But if I was in Portland and I searched it, it's definitely going to come up. So
I see. Okay. So it that list of 20 becomes really important if you have a service business too.
Definitely.
So why did mine come up for whatever? Just because?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think it's because you have a very unique name. Because I didn't see any other. Let me just do it again.
Well, there's a person, and she doesn't like me very much.
Yeah. Well, Zoetica on LinkedIn. No, that's not her. But yeah, you're the only one that comes up. I'm looking at the whole first page of Google, and you're it. So and ironically, when I'm
number
searching
one,
again,
have a really unique name.
Yeah. And I think it's actually also because I've got your listing saved, because we've talked about it before. And so, and I see a little remove, a little remove button. So that's because I have it saved. That's why it came up.
So there you go. So the point is though that as you put this together, and does it show up more if you add more stuff to it, like all the different little things, like the events, like I'm adding and stuff? Does that make it come up more?
Oh yeah. Google wants to know that you care about your customer facing information, and they want to know that, you know, you're willing to put in that work and that effort, and they're going to be displaying you higher and higher if you post more often. So,
got it. Okay. Yeah. So that's important too, is that posting. It's hard for me to remember it sometimes. I do use a tool called Content Studio.io, and Content Studio actually lets me schedule stuff to my Google My Business profile, which is like pretty cool. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
So
I use Social Bee. That's the one that I use, and I absolutely love it. It allows you to do that as well.
That's cool. So there's a couple of tools right there that if you are like, hey, I'd like to schedule this, those are two tools that work, that I know work. There may be more. Let's see. Is there any other questions? Because we're kind of getting toward the end. I have all the cool kudos for you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Loida, yeah, you get a lot of claps because this is pretty good information. Hi, Rhonda.
Awesome.
How are you? Alvin's here. Yay, Alvin. And Loida says, share the Google My Business. Yeah, I crawled it at the beginning, but I will crawl it again just for y'all. Let me go back here. I have to say y'all because, you know, I'm in Texas.
I love it.
We'll crawl it along the bottom. You kind of see it, and I'll make it so you can really see it. I'll bump us back a little bit. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know. I do have a couple of announcements that I need to definitely make toward the end here. And my team will throw in the links for you as I talk about them. And I will try to do the same, but we'll see what comes across. So just know that next month, we actually are having our very first in-person social media breakfast in over a year, Amanda.
That's
over
awesome.
a year. But we're working with the Houston Arboretum, and we're going to be doing a photo walk, and we are going to have prizes.
That's awesome.
So you definitely want to come. We're going to be outside, so it'll be all safe and everything. We'll be doing that at the Arboretum. So there's a lot of information coming up around that. So definitely let me do that. The second thing is, if you haven't done it yet, we on our Facebook page, we have a jobs listing. So if you do have jobs that you're trying to fill, make sure you leave them as a comment on that jobs listing. Or if you are a person that's looking for a job, make sure you go there and read the jobs on there. And as we know now, Amanda, everybody's searching for jobs in social media.
Yep.
So in Katy. So that means in Houston, people are looking for jobs. So please put it on there. We'll get some good candidates, right?
Yes,
definitely.
definitely.
And then in 2 weeks, on June 25th, we're going to have our SMBHOU virtual coffee. We've been doing that for the last couple of months. We're just meeting on Zoom. We're having the networking part of this meeting, basically. Plus, we talk about any kind of new things that have popped up in social media. It's usually about the time I'm putting together Smart Social Sparks, which is my monthly newsletter with all kinds of amazing updates on the social platform. So my team, Amanda, goes through the entire internet and like pulls together all the different changes and all the different networks for that month.
That's awesome. That's huge. That's a huge help.
Yeah, we need to put Google My Business on there. So we're adding that now.
Awesome.
And then this month, I'm going to turn it into a podcast too. So it's going to be like little short 2-minute podcasts on each network. So if you only care about Instagram, you can listen to the Instagram one. So that's coming out. Like I have all of the episodes recorded. So yeah, really
great idea. I love that idea. I love it.
And it's a pop-up podcast too. So you're going to have to be subscribed to the Sparks list, which you can get at the top of my Twitter channel. So if you go to twitter.com/CamiChat, if you're not on Smart Social Sparks, I have a pinned post at the top of my Twitter channel that takes you right to it so you can subscribe. That is all for announcements. Wait, one more, kind of exciting. So we usually do Gift of Guidance in December, where we help 10 nonprofits come up with a mini social media strategy for the next year. And this time we are going to do a whole day. It's going to be a conference. It's going to be an online virtual conference with a mixer at the end where we can get together in person and have a little cocktail fun. And hopefully, by then things will be a lot safer.
Wow, that's awesome.
Let me see. So will the replay be available? Yes, the replay is available. Oh, that's out of it. I hit the wrong thing. Oh, yeah, and PR Day. Thank you, Felicia, for reminding me. And I will be speaking at PR Day in 2 weeks. You gotta shake me. There's a lot of announcements. So I will be speaking at PR Day, but a lot of people will be, including a lot of people in our current audience. And this is going to be a great one-day conference that is all about, communications and PR and how to use it in different contexts. The speakers are amazing. Felicia, if you want to throw the link in the comments, that would be great. My team can pick it up in all the other channels too. But definitely check that out. I have it on my also, I think, LinkedIn account, or will today if I don't already. All right, so there you are. And okay, so people are asking about your services. So Kirsten, definitely we will be putting out all of that information, because I have a really cool thing from Amanda that I'm really excited to share with all of you. So if you are signed up for our social media breakfast list, I'm going to be sending out this entire presentation plus a little bit more on that in about a day or so. I'm going to be sending out an email with her presentation that's a PDF, and also with that. And then, of course, this video sits on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and you can watch it again to your heart's delight. So we would love for you to do that. So yeah, Jackie, put your jobs on the link. I'd love it if you did. So we have that. Let me see if there's any other questions. I just want to make sure. Can you bring your video camera? Yes, there will be for the Arboretum. Yes, it's going to be photos and video contest.
I wish I lived in Houston now.
I know. Well, come on. We had so much fun here. It's such a great group of people. And they asked about your services, which, I mean, you saw them. So all you have to do is actually Google. Tell them your business name again so they can Google.
It's TDM Marketing.
TDM Marketing. And I will actually put that on here too as another banner. So we can get that in there. TDM Marketing.com, right?
Yep, that's correct. It's actually tdm-marketing.com.
Oh, very important.
And I did share my Google link in the chat with you, Cami.
Excellent. And I will put that on here too. Hold on. I'm going to do your TDM Marketing across the bottom. And in the private chat, I have your page. So I'm going to put her Google listing page in the comments. I think everybody can get this except for the people that are on Twitter. So again, tdmmarketing.com, you can go there directly if you want to. But here is her, Amanda's Google listing. And I will Google my business listing, I should say, but Google MB. There. Hopefully you guys can see that. Tell me if you can. I've got it going across on every channel. Well, actually, it only looks like it. Oh yeah, it went to Facebook, and it went to there, and it may not have gone to LinkedIn either. But if you just go to tdm-marketing.com, you can get this. So, okay, that's all my announcements. There was a lot of them.
It's good though. That means you're doing a lot of stuff.
Oh, I do. But well, actually, I should let everybody know that the easiest way to keep up with a lot of this stuff is I've actually created, because I do so many events every month, I have created, not just me, but like I do events with other people and also our social media events, and I'm going to the PRSA event. All of these events are actually listed in my ad event page. So I put them in ad events so that you guys can add them to your calendars, and it has all the links that are relevant. And I just threw that in. Oh, and how do we join the social media breakfast list? So my team has that link. It is in the about section of our Facebook page, but I gave it to our team this morning to share with you. I don't know if they've done that already, but I have it here just in case, and I'll throw it in again. So here, if you want to get on the mailing list for social media breakfast to know what's coming up for this, here you go. It's right in there, and I just shared it across all the different platforms in the comments. So you should be able to grab it quickly. Any final parting thoughts, Amanda, on Google My Business and just anything that you think that we need to know that I haven't asked?
Yes, just do it today. That's literally my best advice. There's only about 50% of businesses who have claimed their listing. And of that 50%, I would say only maybe 5% actually manage it and optimize it. So that is good news for you because it means that you can literally just fly past those people that are not doing it and show up on the top 3.
Yep. And I don't know what you mean by this, Gail. I got one more question. Reposting, if you're targeting by geography, does it then exclude people you aren't targeting? I don't know what that means.
So yeah, actually, hi Gail. I know Gail.
Yeah,
so if you're targeting by geography, like if you're targeting by zip code, it's not necessarily going to exclude people that are not in that zip code if they're searching for what your product or service is, and you have that in the description, you have that in your post, those kind of things, they can still find you. So it's not going to like block your listing from them. It's just going to target and serve those people that you're choosing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you don't do it though, it's not so if you don't add the 20, I guess maybe Gail's jonesing at, will it serve it to more people?
It's going to serve it to less for sure. So one mistake, the biggest mistake that I see is people will add in the United States as their service area, or they'll add in whatever country they're in as their service area. And you are not going to get served to anyone if you do that, because Google's going to be like, I don't know who's supposed to see this. I don't know where you serve. So you really want to make sure that you're filling out those 20 service areas.
Cool. Yeah. I do think it's hard. I mean, everybody wants to target as many people as possible. We never want to narrow it down. It's like, we all struggle with this, guys. We all struggle. I struggle with it too. It's like, I can help anybody do social media and get into it better. But then at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're targeting something so that you get more traction. And then once you get more traction, then all that word of mouth comes in and you'll be so busy anyway.
Yeah.
You don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of service-based clients that have been reaching out to me and they're like, oh my goodness, I got my first client from Google search. Like it's never happened before. And it's just because you have to really make that commitment, like you just said.
All right. So that is it. We are 2 minutes over. And so I'm going to quit. But thank you guys so much for coming, first of all, and spending a little bit of your Friday morning with Amanda and I. And Amanda, oh my gosh, you are so on fire. This is amazing. I know that a lot of people will actually get a lot of business if they follow what you taught us today. So I appreciate you coming and talking to us. And I hope you guys, if you really need some extra help, that you hire Amanda and ask her for her help because she's great at this. And I saw that you had like an audit on your website that was, awesome. So go get an audit, and they're very cheap. I saw that. It was not that bad.
Yeah.
Do it. Just do it. I like the just do it things.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to do it. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Cami.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Thank you. And I will talk to you guys soon. And again, all those events coming up, but definitely our next coffee is in 2 weeks. So make sure you sign up for that. Okay, great. Talk to you soon.